Hi, I'm Patty Robron, and welcome back to Speaking Truth to Goodness. As we embark on a new journey in this season between the seasons season, we begin by reflecting on our transformative time with Michaela. Through sharing and vulnerability, we've gained immeasurable insights. Now we turn the page. This season, we dive into the political writings of Jerry from the 1990s. Exploring the bridge between personal resolve and collective action. We'll revisit pivotal moments like the WTO demonstrations, examining how resistance has evolved under increasing militarization by the government. Join us as we uncover the timeless relevance of Jerry's thoughts and how they echo in today's struggles for a better world. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram for more insights. Here it is. Okay, so you prepared this. Instead of us going through all of your books and just kind of randomly, you pulled things out and put them together. Is that right?
So this is the beginning of what I will at some point explain.
Oh, okay.
But maybe not quite yet. But it's like, this is you and me having a conversation, and that's part of the conversation. So what I want to do is talk about season 1.
Okay.
And what we think we learned and what we got out of it. And so I'll ask you, I'll be the interviewer here.
Okay, sounds good,
Ms.
Jerry.
Robron, what do you think we learned out of doing that first season, or what do we experience?
Well, I think the first season was a good place for us to dream and start to see how the dream could actually be reality. You know, because we had to suspend reality for a little bit, and how hard it is to do all those things that we want to do in order to even imagine the world we want to see. And so I think we did that to an extent. We didn't exactly plan a Garden of Eden, but we had some big thoughts that were probably kind of realistic about things that humans could do if only humans would believe that we could do it. So I think I learned a lot about large amounts of content and how to process it. I learned a lot about how people respond to prompts and ideas. Yeah, that's what I got for now.
So now I'm going to ask a weird question.
Okay.
So what did you give? That's what you got. What did you give?
Space.
Space?
I gave space. I gave space for it to happen.
Oh, you're so narrow in your thinking.
Yeah, I know. That's okay. It's where I'm starting. I can
I
start
know,
there.
I know. I'm just... So, okay. So I'll answer that question. What, and you can break in and correct me. It's
Okay.
like what you gave me, and I think what you gave the listeners, was an open, expansive way of looking at the world around us and the world within you.
Space to see it.
Fine, space.
Space.
We'll launch you and we'll see where you go. That's a good idea. I like that idea.
Yeah.
So I think for both Michaela and I, there was something about the way that you were present that was, it was inspiring, not with a big I, but it's like, no, this is a model of how someone brings it, like Catherine says, let's face it, Daddy, we're going to leave it all on the table.
Yeah.
You brought it all on the table. So that was a gift to us, and I think to the listeners, but certainly to us. And as you sort of reimagined your role over the course,
Yeah.
So that would be interesting to sort of pull you out from everything else and then to see. that would really be interesting for each of us to see. Yeah, it would be kind of cool. So here, when I was thinking about it, it's like, what made the podcast from our both experience but also perspective valuable was, I think I've said this, we created a different kind of conversation.
Yes, I agree with
a different way of talking about these issues, things we talk about all the time, but rarely do we pull them together into one sort of whole. So especially kind of your leadership around dealing with trauma, our internal reality as it affects our external work.
Oh my God, that was huge. I think that's the whole thrust of everything I'm into right now.
Yes.
Everything I'm creating.
So how would I define that? So I told you what my daughter said, that the podcast was like words falling on a feather mattress.
Yeah.
It's, what was it? A group of people who care about each other and are willing to be vulnerable. And then another time she said, it's a safe space for people. It's a safe space for words.
Space.
And it's a safe space for people.
Space.
So I kept thinking, if this was only a book, we could put that on the book jacket, but we don't have a book jacket.
No.
But I think there are other takeaways which will undoubtedly unfold obscurely, but that to me was how we talk to each other, how we create the, space.
Yeah.
That people who care about each other, care about the world, can have a conversation that incorporates all of that. And that felt like something unusual, uncommon. I don't know if there are other examples. I'm sure there are. But for me, it just felt like, more than anything else, we were showing a way of engaging our world, each other, and ourselves.
Yeah.
So that felt, so at that point I said, whatever else, if we have 4 listeners, I don't care. I feel like we did something really important. Look, I have a musical instrument on.
Oh, good. Let's make sure we insert lots of that randomly.
And I think we began in the beginning, and it evolved.
Oh yeah, I think
as
so.
we knew it would.
Yeah.
So, and I like that part of the kind of us breaking down. We're making this up as we go along. In case you hadn't noticed, welcome to the ride. One of the other things that someone else said to me was that we were actually doing what we said we were going to do.
We did.
We were going to find joy and purpose on a burning planet.
We did, Jerry.
And the joy, people noticed that we actually had a good time being together. So that's my reflection. Where we go from here, I have no idea. You have an idea, but I don't.
Well, I don't know that I have an idea. I'm still kind of in this mode of understanding that what I'm doing is creating space so that I can ride the wave of what flows through it.
Good.
Yeah, there
Surfing,
you go.
I love that image.
Sure. I mean, kind of.
Yeah.
That is how I feel about it.
But that's...
Because I'm not trying to force anything.
That's life.
Yeah.
We're all surfing.
Yes.
We're riding on this tsunami about to crash on us.
Well, but isn't that the whole thing, is we're looking at how the way the world is going aligns with how things are internally for each of us, and needing to address both and understand that they're not separate.
Right. Right. I think that's, of the many, I think, errors of how we have organized our world, separating our inner worlds and our outer worlds, has not done us any favors at all.
Correct.
It's part of the disease.
Because the outer world is too imposed and not reflective of who we actually are.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I really do. Yeah, and that's the basis of my optimism, and it's like, I know way too much to be optimistic, but I am.
Yes, I feel the same.
And why? Yeah, exactly. And it's because, for me, is I see so much goodness around me. it just doesn't feel hopeless. I mean,
agree.
statistically, it's hopeless, but in my part of my inner world that's connected to the outer world, if we wake up collectively, we'll survive. If we don't, we won't. So, I mean, that's part of the equation.
But I don't think it's that cut and dry. I think that we could go through some pretty horrible things here as a species on planet Earth, and it will be the apocalypse for some who don't make it through that, maybe even entire groups and societies, but some will survive.
Right.
There was past events on planet Earth where, like early ancient, older than ancient, prehistoric times, when there was big catastrophes on planet Earth and the population of humans was down to maybe 10,000 individuals. And they came back.
Too many of them came back.
Well,
Now there's 7 billion.
well, we've found ways of making sure we don't succumb to the wiles of
Right.
Earth's troubles.
Okay, so that's my thinking about coming out of season 1, feeling like we did something that was significant, and consistent with who we are and how we try to be in the world. So
Sure.
to me, it was a learning. I feel really, really good about what we did. And what I also know is once we begin this new season, which will be quite different in form,
Yeah.
we'll know what to do.
Well, yeah, and we'll learn more things.
And we'll learn more things, right?
Even these sessions that we're doing are going to be their own thing, and they're going to teach us things too.
Right.
You know, it's funny though. What we're doing right now is everything that I had in mind when I proposed this to you, which was you and I sitting here talking, looking
Right.
through things you've written, talking about stories you remember. But because I brought you into it, you took it up a notch, and look what we're doing now.
Yeah.
We just spent a whole season with another amazing activist addressing things that ranged far and wide, but yet we could see how they were all connected, and we were able to put that together and present that for anyone else who thinks the way we think about the world, or adjacent to it, and can come to something new by what we said. And here we're moving into getting more political, where we actually want to have something similar, like a discussion that's maybe that heartful, with the actual people who are running for office in this city.
Right.
And take it out of the realm of I'm campaigning into the realm of I'm a person looking to make things better for the other people.
Survival,
Yeah.
personal, and yeah. I think I agreed to go along with the gag when you asked me
Glad you did.
because as you first presented it, it would not be appealing to me. Me talking, telling stories. No.
That's because it's you.
But
We all feel that way about ourselves, Jerry.
well,
It's because I'm looking at you from the outside.
look at how you're unfolding over the course of season 1.
Yeah.
How I just want to be clear, when people talk to me about the podcast, they talk about you. They don't talk about me. They don't talk about Michaela. They talk about you.
Wow.
Yes. So of course it's mutual, and of course we're in it together. But I never bought that. It's like never mind. But and then of course there's something unnatural about Michaela not being here. It's like, wait, I'm not looking. I'm just looking at you, which is not. It's a good thing, but it's just different.
New phase.
It's not a conversation in the same way, an expanded conversation with 3 people.
Right.
So
Well, that's why we've brought in your writings, so that we have 3 people. We have Jerry from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
We have Jerry right now, and we have me.
which proves that entropy is real.
Why? Because we're going to look at what you wrote.
No, because
30 years
because
ago?
I'm running down
Oh.
like the universe, but in a faster turnaround cycle.
You're just a little fractal of the
So
universe of which you are a part of, Jerry. We all are.
Yeah, no, it's true. So here's how I imagine this.
Okay.
Okay, so in 2000 and sometime around early 2000s, when the second Gulf War occurred, and I realized it was a different Bush, same Saddam Hussein, same madness.
Oh dear, that's wow.
You know, I mean, beyond madness. And I looked at the journal I'd written during the first Gulf War and realized, oh my God, I could write this today and literally nothing would have changed.
It's almost like we didn't learn our lesson.
Almost. Yeah. So I then did take what I had written in the 90s, sort of revise it some, add some. And I called the manuscript, it's probably 40 pages or something, The War Beneath the War. Yeah. Because for me, as a pattern, someone who sees patterns, the war is simply a symptom and an almost inevitable outcome of the values of the world that we live in. So to actually not only stop a war, but to stop war, we have to look at that much larger underlying piece of the change that needs to happen. So this prefigures, in a way, your perception that we have to deal with our inner trauma. I hadn't gotten that deep yet, in order to change the nature of the world around us. So that was my intent. So basically, it's my journal, basically is what it is, because basically, in that way, I'm a journalist. And so there are some things in the beginning about that I felt I would like to read in small sections and then have the two of us talk about.
Love it.
And then as I was thinking about it, a little way in, I wrote something, primarily a long quote from Daniel Berrigan, who used to be well known in other generations. So what I want to do actually today is read some of a short piece of Daniel Berrigan's perspective on the war beneath the war, and have us talk about it. And then next week I went back through and it looked like it's written in sections, written in 30-some sections.
What you wrote is written in 30 sections?
And
okay.
I felt like the early ones would be useful, so that's my thinking at this point.
That sounds good.
Should we do it?
Let's do it. Can I close that window?
You can.
Okay.
Well, I can, but...
Well, that's why I asked if I could close it.
You're more mobile than I am. Almost anything is. It's like...
Just realized we were getting some train noises and things.
Okay.
We'll still get some. That's okay.
So the context for me is I'm in Africa from 1964 to 1967. I come back in 1967 and I don't recognize the world around me. And as you know, coming back, being in Africa and coming back changed everything in my life in a number of ways. And I discovered that the war, which is kind of abstract when you're 500 miles from Dar es Salaam, in a town of 5,000 people, sixth largest city in Tanzania, it doesn't seem real. It seems like the world around me was real, and everything else was just sort of... And then you come back and you have to face the reality of the war, you have to face the reality of the civil rights movement. I mean, all that stuff is overwhelming. So one of my sort of culture heroes in that was Daniel Berrigan, and he was a Jesuit priest and probably best known for choosing to go and spend time in Hanoi during the war writing a book called Night Flight to Hanoi, and also for, I think it was Burning Draft Files. It was another group that threw blood on them, but I think the Catonsville Nine simply went into a draft center and burned all their records, endearing him to me. But also a very thoughtful, principled, deeply spiritual person. Just met someone who was his college roommate at Fordham who said, just a guy. He didn't have a great sense of being important, or just a guy doing what he thought needed to be done. So in this segment, so let me clear my throat. So this is basically the second section of The War Beneath the War. And rarely is there an extended quote, but in this case I think it deserves to be honored. Anyway, interlude, Daniel Berrigan. I stumble on a book from the Vietnam era, a book by the renegade Jesuit Daniel Berrigan called No Bars to Manhood, quote, womanhood. He writes about establishing a new spiritual geography, not new rules for the game, but a new game. He says, we fasted, marched, picketed, sat in, followed every step of escalation as well as we could with our halting methods and means. At least we were dogging the iron heel of Mars. We never succeeded and we never quite gave up. That is the best that can be said for us. The old, tidy, well-arranged boxes of the universe were flying open, and the 7 plagues were loosed upon the world. There would be no closing that box again. There could only be an attempt to follow the course of evil and the death with whatever trail mercy and compassion could blaze. I have enjoyed all the fruits that America offers those fortunate enough to make it within her system. If I mourn for the death of that system, it is as one who has enjoyed its cup to the depths. If that same vintage has now turned bitter as gall in my mouth, it is because I have seen the society that might have been great, according to its own rhetoric, turn murderously against those throughout the world to whom it had once offered the fairest hope. I could no longer drink the fruit of those grapes that had turned to wrath against the majority of men and women, that even now was tipping murderous vessels of death upon victims in North Vietnam and Iraq. Who are we as a people? This is the core of the whole thing. Who are we as a people? A society discovers itself mercilessly in the mirror of its crisis. There is no point in searching for identity in times of normalcy. We cannot really see ourselves in that clouded mirror of unexamined affluence and selfishness, we commonly call peace. No, we need to clear the mirror. We need to discover in the encounter of life and death what our attitudes toward one another are. When the stench of the dying, the innocent, the children, the soldiers is rising in our nostrils, we must raise the question, what values govern us? And we stand on the brink of the unknown, which is to say, things are normal and good and permissive of joy. What do you think?
I liked it, but I connect with words better visually. Can I see your paper?
Okay. I mean, obviously I was drawn to remembering this because finding joy and purpose on a burning planet, this seemed to be, it is permissive of joy. No matter how dire the moment. So,
well, exactly. Because we've already lost if we're not willing to embrace joy.
We are defeated.
Sure. Fair.
There was a book in the 50s, a long time ago, called Like a Conquered Province.
Yes.
I mentioned this. And the thesis is that America emotionally feels like a conquered province, like Vichy France under the Nazis. that it feels powerless when it's not.
We were conquered.
Well, yes.
We were conquered by the ruling class.
Yes, and the ruling ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have the illusion of having enough, and yet we don't.
Right.
Certainly not all of us.
You know how my mind works. So, in a totally different context, there's a statement about spiritual awakening, and it says, no one can stay awake alone. And the isolation that is enforced by how the society is organized keeps us from getting the support that we need
Yes.
to be whole.
Yes.
What else do you think about that?
I was very caught by, we never succeeded and we never quite gave up. That is the best that can be said for us.
So yeah. I'm not nearly as cynical as I sometimes sound, but it's like, if the way we organized worked, wouldn't we have organized something?
Well, right. That's what caught me about it is like, okay, great, but like, let's move past that.
Now, we did stop the war, arguably. We did cause them to get rid of the draft. But that was over a long period of time. Yeah, and there were other historical factors that made that happen. But I believe, personally, I believe that it's necessary to be in the streets. There has to be a no. There has to be a visible no to what's going on.
Mm.
Even if we held all the good thoughts and we're invisible, then we're ceding power. And that I do not want to do. I do not think that mass demonstrations, they need to be strategic. In and of themselves, they don't go anywhere. But I think it's important to do it. So, What else is in your mind as I read that? Nothing? There's never nothing in your mind. Right?
Takes me a minute. I guess the other bit that really caught me was we cannot really see ourselves in that clouded mirror of unexamined affluence and selfishness we commonly call peace. I mean, fuck.
Exactly.
Right, because peace shouldn't just be the absence of war. But, and this is even a step beyond that, where, like, this is saying we try to call it peace even when there is war, but we're in a place where we don't have to see it, and then we try to call that peace. Maybe.
Yes.
And that's problematic.
Yes. And
we need to discover, in the encounter of life and death, what our attitudes toward one another are.
Yep.
And maybe there's a piece of that where we're all too willing to embrace the life parts, but we shy away from engaging with the death parts. And I think that is to our detriment. Because if we're not seeing the full cycle, we will value things that are not as important.
So how do you interrupt this effective blindness? I have it here too. I don't know.
It's the joy, Jerry.
It's the joy, but also it's the conversation. So on rare occasions, living here in this very safe bastion of white skin privilege, 50 feet from homelessness, I'm frustrated that people I think people retreat because they're afraid.
Yes.
I think old people retreat because they've been told they're useless. They're not.
Right.
That the act of actually having a conversation is kind of revolutionary. So last week I had one about issues around climate, but also taking ourselves seriously enough as old people. 83 is about the average age here, so people tend to be old. So it's 5 people, and I felt like 2 of them in particular acknowledged their frustration that we are not engaging the world around us in a serious way. They were just in retreat.
That old people in general are doing that? Is that?
Well, and the people who live here.
Oh, okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
300 people who live here.
Well, this building's tagline is something about it's not a retirement community, it's 5-star retirement fun or something like that.
5-star fun.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the goal of this place to do it that way.
Right. Right. So the goal of corporate America, even in the case of a corporation that I think actually is pretty responsible, Leisure Care, is not for us to engage. It's for us to feel taken care of.
Yes.
Which implies a certain paternalistic attitude, which I find repugnant, but
yeah, that's fair.
Understandable. So the scale of things, I don't think we need every day to do grand, large things, but I do think, as I say over and over and over, every day we have to move toward the good. That's all we have to do.
That's all we have to do. I want to read the last line of this again because, okay. We stand on the brink of the unknown, which is to say, things are normal and good and permissive of joy. Yep. And so what that says to me is, hey, dummy, we're not going to have it figured out. I know that's what you want.
Exactly.
But it isn't going to happen that way. That's not real. Instead, what we have to do is get more comfortable with being uncomfortable and knowing we do not have the damn answers, and all we can do is ride the fucking wave and do the best we can with it.
So I would take dummy out.
Well, I'm speaking it to myself, so it's all right. I mean it in love.
No, but of course, Patty, that's... So
it was always going to be this way, is what I'm getting at.
For my 80th birthday, I asked for 50 more years to engage this monster. And there's something that's totally gone out of my head that was the real point of that. But
oh no.
The other thing I asked for my 80th birthday was a barricade. I want to be on a barricade. I want to be fighting the monster hand to hand, and I don't care if I die. So that's the other piece. And I think what was easier and more satisfying in the 60s and 70s is there were identifiable pockets of resistance, not just individuals in resistance. And there was support for that, and there was space for that. Mm-hmm. The society had not locked down as it has now. The difference between the WTO demonstrations in Seattle in 1999 and the next WTO demonstrations in Miami a year later were militarization. In Miami, it was an army arrayed against peaceful protesters. And there were tactics used that had nothing to do except subduing the resistance.
But see, that's the whole thing, Jerry. We think, we have to have our activist playbook and we do these things and it works. But that's not what they think.
No.
They're seeing it and adapting to us and being able to head us off at every pass. And so we have to stay a step ahead.
And it's confusing because I do feel like the civil rights movement was successful using nonviolent means. And I don't see any point in being violent unless you're strategically violent, which we're in no position to be.
And property versus people is a different situation too.
Yeah, well,
just to be a little bit too far there.
I did, by the way, see undercover cops breaking windows. I did see them do that during the week in Seattle around the WTO.
I fully believe that's what they did in Portland too during George Floyd.
Do we really want to talk about Portland?
Nah, maybe not.
No, we'll do that another.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll get to Portland in season 2.
We're not going to talk about that now. But if this city is in trouble, it's because somebody wanted us to be in trouble. This was engineered by Trump.
I agree.
Yeah. So
and the media.
We'll say that. Media? What is media?
Can convince the whole country what's going on in Portland, and it doesn't look anything like what's actually happening in Portland, all because of a few news stories that were strategically placed. Yep. They have their strategy worked the fuck out.
No, I mean, I don't want to say that. I just want to say that there's some things that the Republican Party, that repressive forces do really well, which is to undermine the meaning of words.
Yes. Oh my fucking God, yes. It is the use of language. When we talk about it being the oppressor's language, Jerry, that is everything. They know exactly how to use it, and they use it for the feelings it creates in the people because they know what feeling it will create because they intentionally put it there in the first place. There you go.
Well said, particularly
Thanks.
The little...
You like that at the end?
Ululation there at the end.
But that's exactly it. And that's it's not, we're beyond the level of what we used to think of as propaganda. It's like the deep propaganda. No, right. And it's pulling on our emotions.
It's in the water. It's like fluoride. It's in the water.
Yeah. They've got the backs of our eyeball strings and they're directing where they want us to see it.
Yeah, and that's why part of me, so John Trudell, who was the head of the American Indian movement when they occupied Alcatraz, which many people probably don't know they did, but and he says at some point, I should have made them kill me. I mean, our level of resistance has to be equal in some way to their level of violence. And I mean, part of me feels that way. Oh,
I remember having thoughts during Trump era of like, well, what the fuck is it going to take? Do we need 100,000 of us to show up at the White House and just keep waiting for each successive wave to get shot down and before we finally get someone in there to yank that guy out by his hairpiece? You know, I mean, obviously that was like me trying to think of a very physical thing freaking out. Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
And freaking out is fair. I mean, we should be freaking out. So I want to just go back to that our society is like a conquered province. Mm-hmm. I still believe that in the overwhelming majority of people, there is goodness. And it's been subverted in large portions of our society, manipulated in all those ways. And so we go on. So we go on today, we go on tomorrow. We move toward the good every day. Every day. And we speak the truth to goodness.
Yeah, we do.
Every time we see goodness, we name it.
Yeah.
I sent something to some of the staff here because I know they're feeling not so good about things, appreciating them. Mm-hmm. And I sent it to 3 people and I got back 3 responses. It was a day when I really needed to hear that. Like, every day is a day people need to hear that. Mm-hmm. So if we deepen people's sense of their own goodness, good things will happen. That's my belief. That's why we speak truth to goodness.
I agree. Well, so you said something a minute ago about like how we speak truth to goodness. But the flip side of that is what drives media culture, which is instead of speaking truth to goodness, it's instead pointing out faults to our scared parts.
Yeah.
And making sure that instead of knowing our goodness because it's been spoken to us, we know our faults so it can be fucking exploited to sell us new things.
Have you ever watched local news?
Well, yeah.
It exists for the reason of terrifying us.
Well, not to mention every single ad in existence. Okay, so this is a little weird, but I always go back to this ad from the 50s. It was an ad for Lysol. Disinfectant, right? And apparently, Lysol was being marketed to women as a cleanser for their lady gardens.
What?
Yep. I don't know if it was the exact same product, but it was like, yes. And so this ad showed a man up in front and then like a spider web with a woman behind it, and was suggesting to women that they weren't going to be acceptable to their man if they didn't have their lady parts taken good care of with Lysol. So
you're making this up, right?
No, I am not.
No, you are.
I mean, I could be misremembering some part. I'll double check. But so what's happening there is this is sorry if this is too far, but like our bodies are lovely and they're normal and they are how they are. And this fucking media or this commercial campaign sought to convince women that there was something wrong with how their bodies are. And therefore, to fix that contrived problem, they needed to purchase this thing to fix it. I said fix twice. That's fine. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I think if we look deep enough, that's happening everywhere about everything. And we've been convinced of our faults, not to mention we've got religion adding sin in there that's nonsense to begin with. Right? And so everything that is not speaking truth to goodness is what we're living in.
Right. Which is why we have to speak truth
Which
to goodness.
is why we have to speak truth to goodness.
Yeah. And
so there's a story for the listeners. Lysol douche.
no,
You're welcome, Jerry.
No. Yes, that knocked the thought right out of my head.
I'm sorry.
Not
sorry, actually.
Never mind. Well, one of my friends here, a person who I find to be a really fine human being, was given a fertility drug of some sort, not thalidomide, but something, and she's been suffering for 50 years, pain and disability for 50 years, because somebody thought, oh, take this for some whatever reason. Yeah.
It just isn't fair, is it? The things that happen to some people, and all that potential.
Like women, it's like some people like women.
Yeah,
I mean,
anybody.
And lots of other people too.
Well, people going through an injury or a one mistake, and their life is altered forever. That is so hard to accept.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it just that's a very good person. I enjoy her very, very much. Doesn't complain. I have to ask her, so how you feeling? They're still trying to find, and she did at some point tell me the backstory, and it wasn't like Lysol. It wasn't that graphic, but I don't know. I mean, why am I stuttering? It's like, I don't even know how to say this or even think it clearly, but it's like, so you have how African American people have been treated, you have how indigenous people, my tribe, has been treated, and you have how women have been treated. And like, why don't we all rise up and just overwhelm this monster? Because
we've been put in little boxes of our fear.
Yep. Yeah.
You can't see past some traumas, because what it is our parts of us that want to protect us and keep us safe. They learn from the conditioning put on us by the culture. They received it, and those protectors jump up to make sure that we don't see the things or feel the things that really threaten to hurt, because of what we've been told we need to do to stay safe.
I think people like you and I, people like Michaela, always carry in the back of our minds and bodies awareness of this injustice, awareness of this brutality.
Yeah.
And somehow we have to hold that as we try to move forward. And for me, at least, there are like a few days a year, which I call my grief tax, where I just lie down on the floor and give up. You know, I can't do this anymore. Then I get back up. Yeah, it's just like...
Sometimes there's something about knowing that you could just quit if you needed to, that makes you feel like you can keep going.
But I can't quit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But knowing that you could?
No, I couldn't. I try, but I can't. But no, it's true. It's like I am who I am. I'm the product of all the gifts that I've been given, some of them unearned, as someone who grew up with white skin privilege all my life. But I can't not care about injustice. I can't.
I know.
And there are times when, a specific instance, what's happening to one person is a trigger that just fills me with mostly grief in that moment, maybe anger later, and maybe determination for sure. And that's why limitation of aging is frustrating. Like, there was a great Earth Day parade yesterday. I couldn't go. That's wrong. I deserve to be there. And it's like, that's just me whining. But I just would like, first of all, I want to support everyone who stands up. I want to support everyone who fights back. I want to give them love. I want to give them support. In some cases, I want to give them financial aid. It's just like, and I want to honor those people. And I think I do.
Jerry, we're recording things and putting it on the internet forever. So you, okay, I'm going to cry. So you will do that even when you're not around anymore.
Well, there's a grim thought.
I know, but...
Mr. O'Brien. It's true, and I won't be around forever. And at 83 and clearly in decline.
But the words you say now exist forever now.
Yeah. And the things I've written, though.
Yes.
The publishing industry is so corrupt, I can't bear to try to get anything published.
Well, that's okay. We can read it, and it'll then be on the internet.
I thought, well, I'll just go through the things I've written and sort of organize them. 3 bankers boxes. No, I can't organize that. I can't keep track of.
It's okay. It exists.
It's just like funny.
Maybe I can create the audiobooks of them, Jerry.
Well, Patty, it's good to be in this struggle with you.
You too, Jerry. Thanks for making a podcast with me.
Thanks for asking me to make a podcast. Which is, I think I may be the first person, or maybe not, to make a podcast who had never listened to one.
Maybe.
How do you do this? Well, I'm not bound by any conventions since I have no idea what podcast.
Exactly.
No.
I think we're on the mark. It's fine.
I were definitely seeking the right path.
I would contend I think there's not a right path. I think we're seeking...
on the unfolding path.
Sure. Or to ride the wave, honestly, at the very least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sharing that ride with you is an honor. You know that.
Thanks. I feel the same way, Jerry.
Okay, buddy. Let's give it up for today.
Okay. All right. Thanks for joining us.
I love you.
Love you too. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey through Jerry's writings from the 1990s. Today, we've traversed from personal revelations to the broader challenges that activists face against evolving power structures. As we continue to seek justice and equality, let's remember to offer support and engage in heartfelt discussions. Because goodness truly is all around us, if only we choose to see it. We hope today's episode brings you a sense of hope and invigorates your commitment to change. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more discussions like this. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Speaking Truth to Goodness. Until next time, keep speaking truth to goodness, because goodness